Okay. So, sorry here, I'm just gonna hide this bar here's in the way. Okay. So, product photography and creating dynamic marketing graphics. My name is Jake Francoeur. I work for the Haldeman County Economic Development and Tourism Department as the current Digital Service Squad member. This presentation is going to be brought to you guys by Haldeman County and the Grand Erie Business Center. The Grand Erie Business Center assists small businesses with financial opportunities and a number of different guidance and advice scenarios between them and business advisors. So if you guys are interested, feel free to check them out. Okay. So Digital Service Squad, who is that? So that's me. We offer a number of different free services to businesses such as SEO analysis. Oh, someone else requested. There we go. SEO analysis, educational workshops, social media workshops, and these are all built in an educational way to help assist you with developing your own strategy for your business. We also offer 360-degree photography of the interior of businesses. This is a photo that you're able to move around and look through the room on the photo. It's usually used for your Google business profile, but there's a number of different variable uses. So we also do assistance securing Digital Main Street grants. Digital Main Street is a federal grant opportunity that provides a number of different monetary and non-monetary grant services to businesses. They have currently a $2,500 grant that's not available, but will be available here soon. They have a $2,400 grant that is heavily e-commerce focused. And then they also have a grant directed at developing a website for you that has very low cost involved. Okay. We're just going to give people a couple seconds here as some people requested to join at the end there. So I'm just going to give them a couple seconds and then we will continue. Okay. So today we're going to be heavily talking about a light box and what are the techniques that are occurring inside of a light box. So this here in front of you, you can see is a light box that I pulled off of Amazon. I put the link at the bottom. You guys will all get a PDF version of this. If you want to look more into the Lightbox and see what's actually available, you can kind of get to that section of Amazon via that link at the bottom there. So let's talk about a Lightbox a little bit. Oh, sorry. So the Lightbox, you can see there's usually a flap on the front here. You place the product inside, and then there's lots of heavy fluorescent lights that really illuminate the product inside there. You can see in this bottom picture here where it says overhead shoot, you'll see this white fabric that kind of hangs just below where the light would be inside the box. Now, this light or this fabric here, this is a light diffusion fabric. It's used to soften and change the direction of the light that comes through it. It kind of adjusts how the shadow will reflect looking from the angle that you have the light on. So let's talk a little bit about the county's light box system. So Haldeman County has a light box loaning system. We have currently 2 different light boxes of different sizes for you to borrow for your business. The light boxes can be kept for about 2 weeks, sometimes a little longer. It really depends on if there's another person in line requesting the box or no one has requested it. If you need it for an extra week, you can kind of reach out and set up that arrangement. So we require that you sign a Lightbox waiver form. This just basically says that, well, the Lightbox is in your care, you're responsible for it, pretty standard. And you can request guidance on how to set it up, how to operate the Lightbox for when you pick it up or when it's delivered. Okay. So an alternative to a Lightbox is a ring light. These are pretty popular these days. A lot of social media influencers and different parts of kind of the influencer page use this. This would be like very good for kind of the video that I'm shooting right now, where it's just of my person. This would be a light that would focus on me and it would cause not as much exposure from the camera. Just gonna admit this person. So this is an alternative to a light box depending on your business. I think a light box is a little bit more product focused and this is a little bit more like interviewee, I'm on the camera style, okay? And again, at the bottom here, you can see that the link is left there. You'll get a PDF after if you want to explore on Amazon what the cost of a light box is, what the different features they have. You can use that to do that. Okay. So this is just a photo here that I wanted to show you guys. This is a professional, basically professional equipment for a photographer. There's a number of different things that I want to point out here. So in the background there, you'll see that giant white umbrella looking thing. What that is that is a light with a diffusion cloth on the front of it. And that's one of the techniques we're going to be focusing on heavily today to talk about. And then the other technique that we're going to be talking about is bouncing and reflecting light back onto a product. So these little black umbrellas on the floor here and some of these other products in here is a mixture of diffusion of light and reflection of light. So those are the two things we're going to focus on here. I really wanted you to see what the professional grade equipment looks like because the video that you guys are going to be using to see these effects take fruition is done in a very crafty handmade version, okay? So this is the video explanation here. What we're going to do is I'm going to narrate this video for you guys and kind of walk through what is going on in this video. It's going to focus on the two techniques that we just spoke about, which is bouncing / reflecting light and diffusion / softening light. Okay, so what I have here is this is a plush pumpkin that I've used for my house just to use as a product as an example for you guys. And what's going to happen in this video is I'm going to add and remove both of these effects so you can see in real time what effect is being taken on this on the product and the shadow and the lighting that occurs. Okay, so let's hit play here. So this is just the pumpkin. You can kind of see how the shadow itself shoots in to the back left of the product because the light source is coming from the right. This would be a pretty common occurrence. Sometimes you'll be able to adjust this a little bit by using multiple light sources. But for this scenario, I really wanted to just use one so you could see the effect of both of these effects take place. So firstly, what we're going to talk about is bouncing light. So on the left side here, you're going to see it in a second. I'm going to pull out what is basically right here. I'll pause it for you guys. What this basically is this is like an outdoor sign. It's like a plastic cardboard. And basically what I'm using this as is a reflective surface. You can definitely find better tools to use for this situation. I was just using what's at hand to show you what's going on here, okay? So let's see here. Just going to show you a little bit what it is. It's literally a film permit sign from the Haldimand County. So our light source is on the right. We're going to put the bounce to the left of the product, so opposite the light source. And you'll see here in a second as I put the bounce in, you can see I'm showing you the shadow here, how dark it is on the left side of the product. I'm going to add in the bounce and you'll see immediately that the shadow is manipulated by the effect that it creates. So if you just watch here, I'm going to place it in. So you can see it here. And as I pull it closer and move it away, you'll be able to see the effect that it takes on the shadow and how it lightens it up in the product itself. If you really pay attention to the left side of the product, you'll really see it illuminate up as I draw that in closer. So just pay attention to that. You can see it there. And I kind of leave it there so you can see like the long-term effect that we're holding. And then it's gone. The product redarkens up. The shadow is very hard and solid. So I'm just showing you again how reflective that is. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next technique now, and this is diffusion of light. So what I've done here is I've taken a cardboard box lid and I've cut out the lid itself. I'm going to pause it here in a second just so you can see. So you can see right here, this is a good angle on it. It's a cardboard box lid where I've cut out the center of the box and I've put a baking sheet over top of the box. So as I said, we're going to circle back. This is a very crafty way that I put these things together. You can do much better if you put $10, $15 into each one of these techniques and buy a material that is much more suited for this use. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be placing this box. Oh, we skipped a bit, sorry. You can see here, I've now placed the box to the right beside the shadow, or beside the light source, sorry, and you'll be able to see that the effect that this takes. Actually, can we go a step further back and move this bar? We're going to go a step further back to right here. So I just want you guys to see when we actually put the box in there that what happens as I move it closer and further away from the light source. So you can see it here. I'm just placing it in between the light source and the product itself. I need to obviously readjust it so we get a proper angle and we'll be able to see here. So you can see the product there. You can see the back side of the shadow there. It really gets manipulated as I move it closer and further away from the light. So I'm in between the light and the product, and I'm moving it towards the product, towards the light to show you this example. And you'll be able to see that the quality of light coming through is less sharp and it's much more soft. And what this does is it makes that if you have a product that is slightly reflective, like you can see here, this plush toy. I'll go over this a little bit. Let me pause this in a second. You can kind of see it here. Oh, you can kind of see it right here that the plush toy itself, because it's made out of a fabric that has some type of coating on it, there is a reflective property to the fabric itself. So what we're doing is we're reducing how much light is reflected off the product itself and towards the lens of the camera, which is causing like distortion via light. So just want to make sure you guys see that. I'm going to let the video continue playing because we're going to put both techniques up in here and you'll be able to see the effect that it's really taken place. So you can see the second one in there. Just looking at this picture that we have here in the video, you can see that that hard dark spot to the left of the product is essentially now gone. The shadow that was behind the product is much more light, visible. It doesn't seem like it's this dark mass in the back that's hiding portions of our product, and everything is much more illuminated. And that's really what the goal is here, is to take it from, casting a huge dark shadow and having bad lighting on the product in certain angles to having a naturally illuminated product on all sides. Okay. So I think that's enough of the video that we've seen there. I just really wanted you guys to see what it actually looks like when you put these in there compared to not having it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over some general tips, and then we are going to talk a little bit and compare the photos to show you exactly what has changed. So some general tips for you guys when you're doing product photography is getting close. Zooming your camera will actually lose photo quality. It may not feel like it or look like it when you're actually using the camera and zooming in and out. But when you take the picture, there will be a noticeable difference between someone that closed the distance to their product and someone that just zoomed in on their product. Okay. So practice, take your time, learn. Don't feel like you're going to get an amazing first photo shoot and it's going to be perfect. You're probably going to have to replicate it a few times till you get the niche. Okay. So check for even lighting, harsh shadows, exactly what we're talking about today, where you're really fighting that the negative light on the other side of your product. And try to make sure that you're evaluating your product, making sure everything's visible, and play with the angle of both the bounce and the diffusion of the light source, because it will change as you move things in and out towards the product, and you can really narrow down what you feel is the best ratio to your product. And then finally, just edit your photos. You can really get some amazing photos without editing it, but once you put 10, 15 minutes of some very light editing to kind of enhance things, it can really take things up to another level, okay? Okay, so I'm just going to show you the actual effects here. So this is the light source on the right-hand side. This white wall here that they've put up is the bounce. So this is our film permit sign that we were using in the video itself. The light is bouncing off our white sign and hitting the backside of the product. So I just wanted to add a little visualization here for you guys. And then light diffusion, just make sure we slam everything home. Here's the light source on the left. The product is this man right here currently. And then you have a diffusion pad here in the middle. And then the light is passing through the diffusion pad and it's softening the shadows, softening the reflection on surfaces, and just overall kind of enhances the photo. So photo comparison. You can really see a big difference here from going this, if you look at the standard photo and you look all the way to the right, when you have both techniques added involved, it really opens your eyes up to the difference that we've made. We're going to kind of enlarge these a little bit. I kind of wanted you to see all three beside each other, but we're going to look at enlarged versions next. So here's our standard photo. I think it's pretty obvious that we don't like this. You can't even really see the left side of our product here because of that shadow and the way that the light is being cast. We basically just see the right side. It looks a little bit like it would be like Halloween fall cinematic feeling, but it's just not what we want when we're trying to display the quality of our product and, really incentivize people to take part and purchase our product. So let's look at it with just the bounce. You can see the bounce here has really lightened up the left side of the photo. You can now see the finer details on that side. The shadow has really softened up. And then when we go to the third one, it kind of fully encompasses where you now have this like multi-toned background that is all kind of divergent of the shadow itself. It's not just like, here's the shadow, breakpoint, light surface, right? It's kind of like fades into itself and it creates this really nice effect. Okay. So final product comparison. Let's look at the big difference side by side here. So you can really see the difference when you're looking at this photo here that we're getting out of the bounce in the diffusion of light. And I think it's pretty obvious that this is a pretty big net positive when we're taking our photos, right? Like this is something we always want. We always want to display as much of our product in the highest quality that we can. And I think it's pretty obvious that putting a little bit extra effort with these techniques in there really makes a difference. So I want to talk, before we move on to photo uses, I want to talk a little bit about technique uses. Why am I showing you this when this is what occurs in a light box? So there's two things I want to touch on here. The first thing is you can never really operate something unless you understand how it works, right? You can you can buy a light box, plug it in and use it, but if you don't understand the fine details of what's happening with these techniques inside the light box, it can be very difficult to say like, oh, if I do this, it'll be slightly better because this is happening, right? You won't understand that. So I think it's really important to understand how these things are working so that we can properly use them in our own business and our own life, whatever we want to do. Now, the second thing is a lot of people will encounter situations where, I have a 25 by 25 light box, but my product is way bigger than that. And I can't fit that in a light box, but I still want to include that on my website, in my e-commerce store, for my social media pages, whatever it may be, right? This gives you the opportunity to recreate those effects happening inside a light box on a larger scale. If I go back to this video here, just want to show you. This video here is shot on probably a 25 by 60 long white sheet that I have folded up here. It's part of the county's light box and I just took it out. But you can get big versions of these that are 5 feet by 10 feet or whatever you want to do. And that gives you the option to recreate these effects on that big sheet and be able to take the same scaled quality looking photo with the similar background and keep everything very unified without having to go like tremendous leaps or trying to find something or lowering the quality or doing those things. Okay. So it's really great for that. So let's go back to where we were. So photo uses, website. So on our e-commerce platforms, on our home page, if we want to provide context to what our business is and provide product samples so you can see, and then also for social media content. So for social media, we can use this in a very marketing style where we have a number of different techniques to build advertisements for social media. And these photos can be a great way to kind of elevate that. Google Business Profile. We love the Google Business Profile. It's the first thing that customers generally interact with our business. It's one of our main funnels that lead to our business from the great outdoors of people. And I think having the best quality Google Business Profile is only going to benefit you, right? If that's the first place people interact with your business, you want the best first impression you can have. And whether that's a beautiful 360 of the interior of your building, of your store to show customers everything that you have and kind of incentivize them to come in, or that's a very high quality photo of your product and leading that way. There's a number of different ways you can go about it, but I think if you put some time and effort into it, any one of these paths with quality will bring you good returns. So marketing and signage. We can use this for printed marketing, flyers, handouts, stuff like that. We can use it for like exterior signage, banners, advertising. Some municipalities have digital signs that you have access to. So there's lots of use cases. And then obviously in store too, right? Like whether it's on racks, anywhere you want, flyers, in there's so many use cases for in store. It's hard to go over. So here we have some examples of Canva advertisements. So Canva is going to be what we use today to kind of show you the example of how we can use this to create advertisements. So I want you to kind of focus on the left side of the photo here first, and you'll see these fundraisers for kids, 50% discount, and these cookies here. So why do I want you to focus on these cookies? So these cookies are shot the exact way that I just showed you, where you have set up with a white sheet, some photography techniques, and then a straight up shot of the cookies themselves. And they got this great high quality photo. And then what they've done is they've used a tool that I'll be showing you today to remove the background of the photo so that they can just throw it right into their ad and it looks like it's like a seamless pop out like that. And then I just wanted to show you another good example here on the left. On the left, you'll see this delicious food ad. And I think what's important here is they've just clearly put lots of time and effort into their uh, like their product shots of their food, and you can really see that it does look delicious. They got the steam in there, and they've obviously taken quite a professional approach. Okay, so Canva. What are we going to be using for Canva? So obviously Canva is great. A lot of you are probably pretty familiar with Canva, but if not, we're going to be doing a little bit of a quick tutorial here. So you'll get a little bit of the basics from me here, but it's very easy to find information on Canva. We're also going to be using Adobe Express. It's one of my favorite tools of all time for the internet. I highly, 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 one more time, highly recommend using Adobe Express over other tools that may be available to you purely because of the variety of tools that they have. And in my experience, Adobe puts a lot of interest into making sure that their tools do not lower the quality of your project. Where some other tools, if you're converting sizes, um, aspect ratios, formats, anything like that, many of the online-based tools are known and reputable for lowering the quality of your project as it passes through the conversion. So we're going to be focusing on mainly Adobe Express today for our tool. And then YouTube. So YouTube is an awesome resource. A lot of people obviously use it for entertainment purposes, but there's hundreds of thousands of channels on YouTube that are business focused channels, educational content, tutorial, and you can really narrow down the subject to like Canva tutorial, Canva, how to remove background with Canva, you can really use these keywords to help assist you find where you need to go. So I always just like to remind people that YouTube is a great resource for learning, especially for learning tools and internet-based stuff, okay? So resource list, this is for after, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to change the screen that we're sharing, and we are going to share the Canva screen. Stop being silly. Okay, stop sharing screen. Okay, so now we are going to be working off of Canva. So I'm just going to swap my screen to my internet browser here for you guys to see. We are going to be doing Canva. Here we go. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done a few things for you here just to show you guys. So I went ahead and made this advertisement for us. It's very simple. I think it's very cute, clean, easy to do, and I think it's very easily replicatable. So we're going to be showing you basically how I did this. And you can see here that just like the cookies, I've taken the same approach. This is our exact photo from our photo shoot that we used, the finalized version. I removed the background from it and threw it in here just to show you guys that, you can achieve that same feel of having like a pop-out product like this for low cost, basically free. So first things first, Adobe. This is Adobe Express. We love Adobe Express. So let's talk about it a little bit. So this is a completely free to use service. You don't need to sign up. You don't need to log in. You don't need to do any funny business. They do have premium offers that you can look into if you're interested, but I promise you the free version is pretty much everything you will likely need. So what for our case today, we're obviously working with photos. So on the bar here, we've gone down and we've selected photos. You can do like, I'll show you videos really quickly just so you can see what kind of stuff we're doing. So you can see here, you can trim video, resize video, merge videos, crop videos. There's so much, like, look at these tools, guys. There's so much. You can convert to MP4, animate from audio. There's AI functions on this platform. It's great. I think actually, to be honest with you, when it comes to paying for premium for this platform, I think what that includes is the AI services. So unless you really need AI for something, if you're completely cool with just working with resizing tools, audio editing tools, video tools, stuff like that, free version is all you'll need. So let's go into the photo section. This is what we're going to be working off today. So you can see here, Get Started, they offer a couple of different formatting types. Like if you wanted to do your LinkedIn cover or your Facebook cover, it gives you those format options, so you don't really have to worry about sizing. But what we are mainly working with today is the Remove Background tool. So it's as simple as this, guys. You go into here, Remove Background, click to upload your photo. It's going to open you up to one of these guys here. You throw your photo in there. You can see it's removed the background now. And then it's as simple as this. We're just going to, on the right-hand side, download. And once we've done that, we now have what is called the vector of our photo. So anytime you have a picture that has no background and it has this checkered flag background like this, like it's been cut out, what this is called is a vector image. And that just basically means that it's an image of just the image, and you can drop it and place it over things and it won't carry the background with it. Okay. So we got this here. We're going to recreate this so you can see exactly what I did, how I went about things, and how simple it is. Okay. So we'll go to Canva. This is Canva's homepage. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to create a new design here in the top right. So create design. We'll go down. We were working off Facebook landscape, so we'll just continue working off Facebook landscape for ease of access. So once you open up your create design page, you'll be kind of opened up to the design page within your new project. I just want to quickly go over what the tools are, how everything's working here. Some of you might be fairly comfortable with Canva, and then some of you might have never used it before. So we're just going to go over it. So on the left here, you can see this is the toolbar. It goes all the way from design to projects, and there's a couple more options at the bottom. So design here, this is going to be, you can see here, the exact design that I used. This is going to be your background template, right? So if we click one of these, it basically gives us all of these elements in here to play with, and it's kind of set us up with a template. We're not going to use this one today, so we're just going to delete this. Okay, so back to normal. So elements. When we're talking about elements, there's basically two types here. There's design, which is the one we just covered, and there's elements. What elements is individual vectors of images that we can place just like our pumpkin. So we can just drag this out here and place it like it was a pumpkin. So for example, if I put a square here, right? If I throw this square here, if this image was not a vector, when I carry it over the square, I'm gonna send this to the back first. So this is called layering. Basically what happened there is when I went to show the product here, I'll show it again just so you guys see it before I change it. But when I drag this over top of it, you can see that the yellow square is above the layer. So you have to think about it layers like this, where we have the lights here, and then the yellow square is currently sitting here. So if we move these in front of each other, the yellow square will hide the Christmas trees because this is on the upper layer. So what we want to do is we want to take this from the upper layer and put it below so that the Christmas lights are on top of this, right? So we'll go into here. I think my thing is hiding some options here. Hold on. There we go. So I actually don't see the option here, but there is definitely an option. What's going on? Position maybe? Layers. Here we go. So you can see the layers here. These are the layers that we have. So this is our white canvas background. Here's our lights, and here's our yellow square. So if we take our lights and put them above our yellow square, now when we carry this over top, our lights are over top of it. So that's kind of how the layer portion works. I just wanted to show you that really quickly because we ran into it. But say this image was not a vector. The image that we're working with right here, let's say that this Christmas tree was not a vector. What would happen when we carried it over the yellow square is instead of the yellow square becoming the background, a white background would become over top of the yellow square. Does that make sense to you guys? I think it's a pretty easy way of explaining it. So we'll just get rid of this stuff for right now. That's kind of how elements work. So we'll go back up here to elements. So again, they're just graphics that you can drop in here. They're generally vectors. Sometimes they're not, but I would say generally they're vectors that you can use to enhance your project. So next up, we have text, headings, subheadings, different text fonts, different types. So for example, you can, something like this, you can see like this is a custom asset for you to use. We're obviously not going to use this because it wasn't in our original, so we'll just get rid of them. But that is pretty much the difference between design and elements. There is the design is basically the premise of the project. It's kind of the design of the whole thing. And then elements are things that you drop in and out to elevate your project. So, and then we had text, we went over that. So down here is brand. You can add brand kits. So you can see here we have Haldeman County brand kits added to this. That is a white one. Let's do a colored one. You can see here, this is like branding kit. So if we were making an ad for Haldeman County, we would throw this in the bottom right corner like this, and then build our ad around that. So now we have our branding right here. So if you have branding for your business, you can add it to your Canva account and have it in here as a static thing. And it gives you the option to like use the logo, the colors from your logo, so you can keep things consistent. Okay, we'll get rid of that because we don't need it. So this is uploads. This is where we can take our own products and photos and we can upload them right to Canva to use in our projects. So you can see here, obviously here's the pumpkin that we just removed the background on and we uploaded it earlier, so it's already there. But you would just we can do it again just to show you the upload as well. So upload your files. It'll open up to this. We've already put the picture right here, so we'll just throw it in. Boom. And our new photo is uploaded and added to Canva. So now we can throw it in there and just use it as we wish. Okay. So honestly, that is the most that probably you will use through this while you're learning. It kind of takes you from everything you need to create an ad. So let's recreate the ad that we created here so we can show you how easy it is. So we're going to go up here to the design tab. We're going to go up to the search bar, and I used sale Halloween. So that's what we're just going to do. We're going to search sale Halloween. We'll scroll through till we see the one that we used there. And here it is right here. So this is the design that we want. We've already used it. We picked it before, but you could pick any of the ones that you see here that you felt would be good for you, but we're going to go with the same one so we can recreate the same effect. So we'll click this. It'll apply it to our project here. And you can now see that you can actually move these elements around, use them as you wish. We deleted the middle element, so we'll delete that. And then we move these guys up here. We obviously changed the text, so we can just double click into the text box and we can erase that. And I think we said pumpkin plush sale. That's what we did. And we moved it up top here. So we'll move this while we're working so it's not in our way. And then what is the next thing that we need? We need our pumpkin. So let's throw our pumpkin in there. So we'll go down to uploads because we uploaded the pumpkin to Canva, right? We'll take our image and throw it right inside there. We can play with the sizing on this if we want to reduce the size a bit. I think we did, so we'll do that. So actually, this is a good thing to touch on is when you're holding, if you click and hold an element like this and move it around, you'll see, I'll put it where you can see it, but you see this purple line that comes to the middle of it. This is telling me that it's where it's in line with. So if I move it around till I see the center line and then I drop it till I see both lines, what it's telling me is this is generally the middle of the project of where I'm holding it between these other elements. That's the middle. So it helps you kind of scale things like that. So what else did we do? Let's take a look. So you can see here on the other one, we reduced the size of both of these and we centered this, the words. So let's reduce the size on this. We'll get them till they're close to the same size. We probably won't get them to the exact same, but we'll just get them to their visually appealing and look consistent. So let's take a look. Did we recreate pretty good here? It's a little different. You know, our pumpkin's a little bigger in the other one, so we'll enhance our pumpkin a little bit. And you can kind of see here how easy it is to really just throw together these ads, right? And with time and practice comes higher quality, right? The more you do this, the higher and higher and higher quality your advertisements will get, and the more success you'll see from it. Okay. So that's all we're going to touch on Canva today. I don't want to go too crazy and overload you guys there. So we're just going to stop sharing that screen there. And we're going to hop back to our presentation. Here we go. So we'll go back to our current slide, and here we are. So resources. I put together a couple of resources for you guys to use here going forward in the future, just some things that you can use for yourself. You'll get this in a PDF, so you'll be able to use these links going forward here. You'll be able to click them to get to where you need to go, okay? So Canva, of course, is exactly what we use it, or what we just used for our advertisements. And then we have Adobe Express. We just use that to remove our background. You can use it for a number of different things, for resizing existing ads, doing all different types of stuff. So Amazon is a great source for if you need materials or anything for your product photography. There's so many different options on Amazon for just one product that you could say like light diffusion, and you'll get 65 options on light diffusion and be able to look through the specs and the details of each one, read reviews, and really make a decision that way. So another one that I added here was the Haldeman Norfolk Literacy Center. This is located in Dunnville. This is a great tool to use. Basically, what this is this is digital educational assistance provided to the community. You can walk in there and no appointments required, nothing like that. And you can go in there and just ask for some help, and they will sit down with you and teach you some skills on computers if you needed that. So if you or you know someone that is very interested in progressing their business, but they feel that their computer skills are holding them back or anything like that, this is a great free resource to help them brush up on those skills. Okay. I highly recommend it. The people there are very nice. I've spoken to them. Yeah, it's great. So Digital Service Squad, that's me. If you need help, you can always reach out to me. I can help in any way that I'm able to. We do have some restrictions on what I am and able to do for businesses. I obviously can't complete things for you or do work for you, but the goal behind working with me is to progress your skills and education on the topic to where you feel comfortable. You don't need anyone else's help. So most of the services that you'll get through the Digital Service Squad are going to be educational workshops where it's going to be, Jake, I have a lot of problem with Canva and I'm really struggling putting my ads together. Do you have time this week to sit down? Yes, we would set up a meeting. I'd throw together a little bit of an educational workshop on Canva that we can do together to brush up on your skills and to answer any questions that you might have. So that's kind of how that works, just so you guys are aware of it. And that's pretty much the end of our presentation here today. Again, we're going to say thank you to the Haldeman County for enabling me to do this, and we're going to say thank you to the Grand Erie Business Center for assisting us in developing this presentation and supporting us throughout the way. They're great resources as well, and I always highly recommend using them. So let's go into some questions. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask? If you do, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll answer them as they're there. We did have some preloaded questions that I'm going to answer in the meantime here. Some people sent these questions in with their registration for the webinar. So how can I convince people to buy our products and services? So, I mean, that's a tough one. That's really the question every businessman would like to know the answer to, right? Because you can answer that for me. I got some business ideas for you. But in reality, it's just constantly elevating our products and our marketing, our resources, everything that we have, our digital assets. You just want to be progressively enhancing all the time and elevating what you already have. And you'll get to the point where, the product and the reputation and the brand speaks for itself. And I think that's the goal for most businesses, is to get to that point where, you have the Apple effect of just the word Apple in transition with the product itself carries tremendous weight for consumers. So let's go to the next question here. Touch on image dimensions, ratios, and resolutions for online platforms such as Instagram. Okay, this is a great example, actually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to answer this question with visuals. So we will share our screen here. So there's two things that I want to talk about here. There's kind of two options that we could be talking about here, and this could be logos or content. Logos is a tough one. I would recommend just searching up like Instagram logo dimensions, and it will give you a pixel rate, and just try to stick by that pixel rate when you're buying, creating, or anything with digital assets, that you remain in those realms so that you don't have to resize and lose quality. So if we're talking about content, there's two tools we already talked about today that handle just that. So say we're creating content and we don't know, we know we're making it for Facebook, but we don't know what the content is and we haven't made it yet. When we go to actually create our design on Canva, we're given hundreds of options, not hundreds, but many options when it comes to sizing and canvas template size. So you can see here you have Facebook landscape, Instagram square, Instagram story, video, Instagram portrait, Facebook cover, Instagram reel. You have all of these options. So this is like at the start of the content creation, I have specific platforms that this content is for. So I want to mold my content around that platform. So let's go to the other scenario. I already have content and it's like slightly off the wrong size and I just want to reformat it. I know I'll lose some quality, but I want to reformat it so that I can use it for TikTok. It's an Instagram reel originally, or it's a Facebook post originally, and I want to use it for TikTok. That's where Adobe comes in for this, right? So that's where we can really go into Adobe and we can say like, say it's a video for TikTok. We can do resize video here. Actually don't know if I have a video to use. Might be a problem. Yeah, I don't think I have a video to use. Let's check. I don't know what that's going to be, so we're not going to do that. But if you had a video here, you'll throw it in here and it will open up on the side here for you an option where it'll have like templates for those social media pages specifically, and it'll give you the aspect ratios. It'll give you the sizing dimensions, everything, and it'll be like TikTok, Facebook landscape, Facebook long scale, Facebook mobile. It'll give you all those options and you can reformat your picture or your video right to that size that you need for that specific platform, okay? So that kind of answers that one there. I think we got one more. Use of hashtags in conjunction with images post cater to desired markets and customer interests. Yeah, so I would always be incorporating hashtags in our advertisements and our media content. And I think it's important that we include those things because what we're trying to do is you have this group of people that are all in this water bottle, right? And you don't know who any of them are, you don't know what they are, but sometimes they self-designate who they are and what they're interested in. And sometimes we can pick up on that by using hashtags. So if we want to advertise to a specific group of people in this container that live in this little water bottle, what we would do is we would use hashtags to descend their interest and kind of figure out where their interests lie and how they go about their social media content. And then we can say like, well, I don't know how many people in this water bottle are interested in dogs, but I do know 100,000 people in this water bottle have used the hashtag dogs, right? So if we're selling content that revolves around dogs and we use hashtags that are actually popular hashtags that are being used right now for dogs, it puts us in a position where we're now in the funnel that we come down to in social media. We've now triangulated ourselves closer to actually getting to the people that are already interacting with our subject. So I think it's really important for narrowing your customer base to people who actually might make a purchase. Okay. So that's all of the questions that we had preloaded. So if anyone else has any questions that they want to touch on, feel free to type it in the chat. And if not, I'm going to shut things down here in a minute, 2 minutes or so. Okay. We'll just hang tight for a few minutes. Thank you, Kathy. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for coming out and taking part. How about discussing the importance of branding and brand logo? Yeah, branding is very important. So branding is one of those things where it's one of the core aspects of your business, right? So like if my logo is a pen, right? And I'm a pen salesman, when people see my logo, they're going to associate my business with one that sells pens, right? So that's very important. And that's like the base fundamentals of branding, but branding is a very complex subject that can very much dictate the actions of a consumer. And a really easy way to assess that situation is to look at some information on Android phones and Apple phones. The average Apple user would never switch brands going from Apple to Samsung because they use an Apple phone. But the reality is an Apple phone better than an Android phone? Not necessarily. Like there's a very small difference between the two, and it's mostly just ease of use and comfortability, right? So Apple's put themselves in a position where their branding is so strong that it's difficult for customers to leave them to go somewhere else because they're part of something and they feel part of something. There's a lot of different branding techniques. Like you can talk about like the moat technique, and there's a bunch of different ones. I would recommend looking into it. It's something that can really help you. If you just look at if you would like just Google and watch some videos on different types of branding techniques, there's a bunch of different ones that are focus on different aspects of the brand, and you can really go through those and discern which one of these techniques is more associated with my branding style, and it kind of gives you like a platform to follow and like somewhere to look to figure out on these different aspects and be like, well, I am kind of following this layout and this trajectory that this branding style takes. Maybe there's more to it and I should look deeper into that, and you might find success that way, right? So I think brands are huge, logos are huge. Put lots of time and effort into that stuff, and it really depends on the business, but most of the time it's pretty big. And again, I just want to touch one more time. Definitely look up the different styles of branding techniques. Investors use um, these phrases and words very heavily. That's mostly where I'm familiar with the different techniques of branding is from investment opportunities. And a lot of investment brokers, highly successful investing people, will only invest in specific branding techniques that are being used in the different styles, whether it's like a moat style where, I don't want to go into it because I'm going to mess it up explaining it. And I think it's better that you hear it firsthand from someone that knows a little bit more about it. So definitely look it up though, okay? Okay, I think that's pretty much it, guys. We're gonna shut things down here. Thanks for your time. Thank you guys for coming. I'm very happy to be able to provide insight and education for you guys and be able to help you out as a community. We're all a community in this business environment together, and I think the more we share and work cooperatively and get involved, the better it'll be for everyone. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll touch base soon. Bye.